So dear friends, welcome to third session, I believe. So on behalf of the Muscat chapter of ICAI, I welcome you all for the third CPE session, if I remember right. So the session, I welcome also our speaker, Nanda Kumar as well. And before it goes further, I invite CA Ashwani, Chairman, to speak a few words for formally introduce the session.
Good evening and a warm welcome to all of you. So today we have a session on lean management by Mr. Nanda Kumar. And welcome back to all our members who have come back from their vacations and are getting in the groove. The CA chapter is also getting in the groove. So we saw our previous session was on 1st July, the CA day. And today is the last day of the month. We'll see the speed, the momentum pick up now as we go along. August might still be a little slow because we should be having the Eid break in August. But then yes, now we'll be starting in our sessions very well. Some announcements before we begin. So 7th of August, next Wednesday, we are planning to have our next CPE session. As soon as the speaker and the topic gets finalized, you will be receiving the notification of that. We will also be commencing our Saturday half-day sessions. The plan is that we have these half-day sessions on different kind of topics, IT security, BCP, risk management, insurance, or IFRS standards, taxation, the taxation changes which are happening. Today there was a news that the VAT will be postponed to 2021 in Oman. So, but we are planning these sessions. Do let us know if there are any specific topics on which you would like to have any sessions, or you would like to take up some sessions on your field of expertise for the members. So do let us know. We are planning some family events, some quiz sessions, competitions, Onam Diwali parties, and some sports events also for members with families. You will be hearing from us soon on this front. One more initiative, new initiative which we are taking is we would ask you to save the dates 19th to 24th of December. We are planning an international tour, possibly to Turkey, for our CA members with their families. So this will be a new initiative, will begin this year. You will receive again the details of the tour, the itinerary, the expected costs and these details. Last year we started a new initiative giving awards to the top scorers in the commerce stream in the Indian school here in Oman. And we would be doing this again this year in a bigger way. We would do it along with a CPE session for our members. So we wanted our members and these commerce students also to interact. So we felt it was a nice way if they can interact with you and take inspiration from the chartered accountants who are working here in this country and come towards the CA, select chartered accountancy as their career option. We are, CBFS, Dr. Rajesh is here. CBFS is planning to start CPT course, or they intend to start the CPT course for new students who want to take up the CA course. We would urge chartered accountants, experienced CAs in this country to come up as volunteers if you would like to take up any sessions. So if you're interested, please let us know. 10th and 11th of October, we have a school event, Avenir. That's also a career counseling event for students, school students. And we would be getting some career counselor from ICAI India. We launched our LinkedIn page on 1st of July. That's also a nice way to be in touch and to be in touch with a wider professional group from the finance, accounts, and the related fields. So if you have not already become connected with the CA chapter LinkedIn page, do get in touch with that. And so a lot of initiatives are being planned, but all these initiatives are for the members. So if you have not renewed your memberships, please do so soon. And we have a lot of chartered accountants in Oman who have never become the members of this chapter. So I urge you to, if you know anyone who is a chartered accountant but not our member, do let them know about the chapter. We can approach them and they can become our members. Even the Saturday events which we are planning, those will be will not be chargeable. So first time we are doing these half-day sessions, they will be for members and they will be not separately charged. There are no other separate registration fees for members. So without taking much of your time, I would hand over again to Shaz. We are looking forward for a wonderful topic on lean management. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And if I pick up, some of the things, I still pick up the holidays. So I've just been back actually yesterday, and the topic itself is so refreshing. I was last week at the tower of, Leaning Tower of Pisa. So I can probably correlate. Still my holidays are on. So thank you very much for choosing this topic. Friends, we may need to introduce the speaker formally. May I invite CA Manish to come forward and please introduce the speaker formally.
Thank you. Cindy, it's a pleasure to introduce today's speaker for lean management, Mr. G. Nanda Kumar. So Nanda Kumar is having more than 17 years of experience in quality assurance and process excellence consulting. He is a partner in SSA International LLC, a company based in Oman. Mr. Nanda Kumar is an MBA in finance and holding certifications like ASQ, Certified Master Black Belt in Lean Six Sigma, Certified ISO 27001 Lead Auditor, Certified Lead Auditor for OHSAS, Certified ISO 9001 Lead Auditor, Certified Business Excellence Assessor. His core competencies are Lean Six Sigma implementation, business process management system, quality management system, process modeling and simulation technique, and statistical analysis using software, information security management system implementation. He has several accomplishments to his credit. He has implemented quality management system in over 50 companies. He has consulted companies for information security management system implementation. He has provided training to process modeling and simulation techniques and statistical analysis using software. He has also implemented business process management system. He has trained more than 600 green belt in Lean Sigma management, 400 yellow belt in Lean Sigma management, and 50 black belt in Lean Six Sigma management. With this brief profile, I welcome in and invite for his presentation.
Before we begin the session, we have a customary to give a book bouquet. May I invite C.A. Sanil Burgess, please, to come forward and give the book bouquet to the speaker of the day. So friends, this session, the stage is all yours, Mr. Nanda Kumar. The only thing which I look forward, the management, how to make the Leaning Tower straight. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah.
Good evening. Am I audible? Yeah. So it's a pleasure and honor to be here to present my experience here rather than teaching, because I'm quite sure that you must have seen how companies work and how lean is applicable. But nevertheless, this is my point of view and what we have seen over a period of time in different industries to understand and give my version of what we have been doing in this country, and also the lean applicability in different industries, both in manufacturing and service industries, and also how much profit we have saved. So nowadays, whenever I walk into any company, the first question they ask, fine, Lean or Six Sigma, how much money you can save for me? Can you save me 500,000 Riyal in the next 6 months? You tell me that. And you select any project, it's fine, but save me the money. Especially the CFOs. They say, for example, the difference between CEO and CFO is, what I have seen here is, CEO interested to bring in the culture of lean, for example, lean thinking. Whereas CFO says, fine, culture is important, lean thinking is important. How about the money savings? Because we are at this point, we need to save the money. So how lean helps to save the money? How lean helps to arrest the profit leakage is what the topic. Though lean management what was given to me, but nevertheless I felt a profit leadership is the theme people are looking for. So how can we bring in the profit leadership? Why every company is suffering from the profit which they are supposed to make it, the entitlement, but they are not able to make the entitlement profit. So where exactly the things are going wrong is what I'm going to share. So it's about 1.5 hours, And also, I want to make this more interactive session because I'm not going to teach, but I want to get the perspective of yours as well in terms of, not in terms of the tools and techniques, but in terms of your experience in your industry. So that will add value to the whole discussion here. Is that fine? Yes. Yeah, thank you. So quickly about, I thought of introducing my company quickly. So 1999, Chairman N.C. Narayanan. So across 20 countries we have served so far. And this is the leadership team. And if you look at, we have worked so far across many value chains in terms of both manufacturing and banking and financial and other industries. Specifically in GCC countries, these are all some of the clientele list, not the exhaustive list here. So we are working with so many companies in terms of, for example, one of the utility company where they have signed a contract in terms of 3-year lean management implementation, 3-year contract. They said it's not about training people, it's about how much profit you can save, how much profit leakage you can arrest, how much cost can be reduced. The 3-year journey talks about not in terms of lean certified bills, but in terms of money savings. So that kind of a partnership what we have in every company. So these are all some of the countries where we have worked so far. So primarily we partner, somebody asked me what is SSA, what do you do? Is it about lean, is it about process excellence? He asked me what is meant by lean, is it about IT? Primarily this company we have been serving to partner with the client to grow mutually. So you grow profit, revenue, that's where our growth is all about. That's how SSA is all about. These are all some of our training programs, certified internationally as well. And some of our publications, so the Lean and Six Sigma subject, what we have learned, and we have released our own book. That's about SSA. Quickly, so I just want to build the scenario here before I get into the subject. So the scenario building, what I have seen in my experience of 17 years, both in India as well as in Oman, there is a transition happens. Especially in India, the transition happened during 1991 or 1990s. Can you guess what happened during 1990s? Exactly, globalization. So primarily the globalization, opening up the economy to the world, that was happened during 1991. Actually, before that, the scenario is like this. I picked up a couple of pictures here. What was the scenario post-India, post-independence? If you can see, if you remember, Ambassador was the only car, Premier Padmini, and Bajaj. In fact, Bajaj scooter, the quality of the Bajaj scooter is like this. You have to tilt the scooter every time to start. That was the quality. And especially the cars, if you have not used for a couple of months or even a couple of weeks, you can't start at the first crank. That was the quality of the cars we used to have. Whereas even now, for example, even after a month or so, you can start any car. So that's the kind of a quality over a period of time. So this was the only option given by the government or the economy at that point. But now, the same thing here. You can see that in the development in India, the growth over a period of 20, 30 years, you can see. I don't claim it's because of only lean. It's not about saying, because of lean we have moved. The whole point is the competition. In every time when I discuss with the management here and the management team here, when I ask a question, why you are all so protected? This economy is protected, the company is protected. They don't really see the sense of urgency, what we used to have 20, 30 years back. That's what is happening in this country. They don't see the sense of urgency in terms of there is a customer, there's no competitor now, but they can just come in and one day they will just swallow you like, horizontally they will swallow you. One of the company where we have done the transformer manufacturing, I don't want to name the company, they felt lean is something 10 years from now, we are not ready yet. So we don't want to set it up, they said. One fine morning they found across the, Ruzail, there is a factory suddenly erected and they wanted to open up. They found out that factory was from Dubai. It's a new manufacturing company for transformer manufacturing, complete lean layout. So they didn't even know the company was being built. So that's the kind of scenario what we have. So now they are hurrying to implement the lean in the existing factory. You know how much, delay they have done? That's how it is. So whereas we have done a simple survey in terms of ease of doing business, both in India and in Oman. I just compared between India and Oman. There's a survey which talks about ease of doing business. What do you mean by ease of doing business? What do you mean by ease of doing business? So how complex to open up business here? The complexity scale in a scale of 1 to 100, 1 being the best and 100 being the worst. So Oman stands at 78. So currently we are doing a project in one of the utility company, ease of doing new electricity connection. They stand at 68th number, which means so complex the process is. For example, if you give an application on the day 1, you will get the connection on day 70 on an average, and that's also not guaranteed, which means you can't open any business here 2 to 3 months. You don't know when you will get the new connection and start the business. And also, if you can't get the new connection, you're not able to bill the customer, you're not able to generate the revenue. It's not about only the business, you are not able to generate revenue. That's the level of urgency what we have at this point. So this is the ease of doing business survey talks about, 68 is the score. So complexity, when we say, I just want to interact because that is more relevant to the subject I'm going to share. When we say complex, what do you mean by complex? What do you mean by complexity of business? What way it is complex?
Complex is not, it is not, at one, at one site, or maybe as you said, to register the company, there is no standard, you have, SOP, standard of procedures. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, if it is there, he will say, you go to the ministry, 1, 2, 3, 4, he will say 4, 5, 6 you bring tomorrow. Then he will say 6, 7, 8. Then he will say maybe it will go 20.
Correct. So what we have seen in this company where the moment you give the documents, they go through the documents. After a week or so, they will say, there are other set of documents. The primary reason being they don't know what set of documents to be collected, how to check it. They keep asking. By the time, you submit the documents, it's about a month or so. And then you go back for approvals and so on and so forth. Yeah, somebody else will take care of it. With that result, I keep doing the same thing. The value doesn't flow. That's what the lean talks about. Lean talks about how can I do the value creation to the customer in a shortest span of time. Why shortest span of time? Because lean tells you do minimum amount of things and do more. Do more means the more productivity, more number of transformers to go back to the customer, which means I need to do several set of steps which are all minimum in nature. So and then achieve the value, which is not the case in most of the companies. For example, I did an assessment in one of the companies here in a logistics. So for example, a customer walks into the branch and he has to hand over the parcel and register it and then walk away. Do you think how much time it takes? Handing over the parcel and you walk away. Pay the money and walk away. So how much time, any guess? How much time it can take? 10 minutes is the... So 30 minutes on an average. I was sitting at the branch for a couple of days and weeks, in fact, collecting the data, observing how people are doing it, just to prove them how lean can help them. The moment customer walks in, he takes the token and he sits there at the waiting hall and he's just sitting there for 15, 20 minutes. I was curious to know why this guy is sitting there for 20 minutes. Then I went to the counter and then looked at it. The customers are waiting here. What are you doing here? I'm searching the parcel. So we don't know where we have kept. And plus the number of forms I'm asking him to fill up, 5 forms to be filled up. So I started questioning, why 5 forms to be filled up? Can you challenge this forms? Then I said, I can challenge these forms and reduce it to 1. They said, I can't agree. Why? Because somebody asked them to do those forms to be done, so I can't just take it away. With that result, he has to do 5 forms to be filled. And believe me, the 5 forms, I kept it like this and then list out all the activities here. 80% of the information, you keep repeating it in every next form. I said, this is what you are doing it. So now we have simplified. We have developed an app, which means you as a customer, you are already registered with the company. You don't need to fill the form every time. You just key in the details. By the time you go to the branch, 80% of the activities is done. So you just go and drop the parcel, pay the money, come out of it. That's what the lean says. Do minimum amount of activity and churn out more number of customers to be addressed. Am I making sense? So that's what the lean is all about. Do less, don't do any waste. That's what we are talking about. So it is just to give you a thought, and if you can see that India is now here, and over a period of time in 20, 30 years, it will go up. That's the expectation here. And primarily, this is a thought process we have procured. Here what I have gathered here, 1/3 of the population in the world contributing to the 2/3 of the world GDP, whereas 2/3 of the population what we have, China and India and other countries here, contributing to 1/3 of the world GDP. It's irony, right? It's contradicting, right? You have a lot of human manpower we have, but we are not contributing to the world. Why? Why is it so? That's a question, right? It's not about lean I'm talking about here primarily. I'm setting the tone. We are not effective. So in West, they say, they are working for 5 days and they are very effective, whereas we work for 24/7. I also carry laptop at home and keep working. But the effectiveness of what I do is less than, the time I put in. That's where the whole challenge is. So these are all some of the, challenges now people are going through here. I think you can draw a parallel here, what I have gathered. You can see the low efficiency process, depleting margins. Everywhere people are saying, I'm not able to get the margin what I estimate. Most of the companies, the project management companies especially, they estimate a profit at 12 or 13%. By the time they complete the project, they make losses. So that's an irony. Why? Because I estimated at some point, a percentage of profit, whereas when I complete, I'm not able to meet even the estimated profit. So that's a challenge. The moment I ask a question, who is responsible? Why you are not able to make profit? At least 5 different directions people show the blame. Because of procurement, because of planning, because of design, and where should I start? In fact, I should start from everywhere, which means the process is not systemically designed. That's what the whole problem is. That's why people are able to show reasons. I'm not responsible because of design. I'm not responsible because of procurement. This is how the processes are linked. So lean doesn't talk about functional process. Lean talks about value chain process. I'll show you an example during the case study presentation. I've brought some of the case studies to present to you as well. So that's where the challenge here is. So the changing the rule, of course, these pictures I haven't selected. Pardon me if the picture is not aligning with the discussion here. It's our curriculum department which shows the picture. So the point here is why I've brought here, this has been sufficiently understood back home in India in terms of buyer's market and seller's market, which means currently it is a buyer's market, right? It's not seller's market. I can't command any price. Whatever the price the customer can accept is the price. Especially Oman nowadays, they are realizing it, but the realization is too slow, and also the implementation is also too slow. There's a lethargy here. Still, they haven't realized that it's a buyer's market. It's not your market. So you can't protect yourself for long, which means it's just a matter of time. What we have faced back home in India is what the realization we are bringing. Because you can't just thrust upon them, lean, you're supposed to do the lean. People won't take it. But what is challenging them, your business model is not sustainable. Your business will face a challenge, roadblock. That's what we need to sensitize them. Then you do lean or Six Sigma is just a matter of choosing which subject to implement it. Isn't it? So here, in the context of globalization and reactive and proactive leadership, I have a different context to share with you. Can I ask questions? So what is reactive and proactive leadership according to you?
Reactive institution comes with reactive. Proactive, you do it on your own to move certain things.
Okay. In the context of process improvement, in the context of business model to sustain, what can be reactive and proactive? What a proactive leader would do.
For example, purchase department is there. They have a plan for what is to happen this month. Okay. Then there is a production department which has to receive something from purchase department. Now, proactive can be like production department can wait for certain things to happen and then raise alarm then. But they can be proactive by keeping customers interested and doing it in advance.
Correct.
Certain things.
Right. That's a context. So primarily, yes, sir. Sorry.
Okay. Comes to Oman doing the business as you said.
Yeah.
Now what happened earlier, there was systems, procedure and so many things were there. Now they have ministry change and now online and 1, 2, 3 invest easy.
Yeah. Right.
Now the scenario as you said, what happened now in the ministry, no investors. Only people, even if you go to the Ministry of Commerce, earlier there are people.
Right.
Systems are not ready and things like that. This is reactive. As you said.
Now
Now they are ready, but there is no investors now.
Correct.
So incidentally, recently the ministries, we have approached the ministry. They wanted to implement lean in the ministries. So we are going to have a session in the month of September, what lean can do to the ministries. I believe it's a very relevant subject to them because many of your processes are linked to the ministries' approvals and ministry guiding the rest of the industries in terms of taking decisions. So in the context here, the proactive leadership is like this. In the lean context, lean parlance, here it is like this. See, every company wants to earn money, isn't it? And the intention is also to make profit. It's not the intention that I want to make losses, right? But somehow, the design of systems are not aligned with your intention. With that result, if a process starts at P1, P2, P3, and finally you send the product to the customer, your value chain doesn't take care of the cost aspect of it because it's huge cost-heavy processes. That's why the profit margins are eroding, profit leakages are happening. In fact, I wanted to share with you what are the profit leakages happening. Profit leakage means something which we are not sensitized enough to look at it. Your earnability is going down. The entitlement of profit is not there because your cost is somewhere people are. For example, rejection is a profit leakage. Rework is a profit leakage. Rework is an acceptable norm in many companies because any rejections, they say, yes, we do rework, we put some money, and then you send it across. For example, one of the cable manufacturing, when I asked a question, especially in cable, they lose heavily because of customer rejections. And I asked a question, there is a term called cost of poor quality, COPQ, which is a theme for Six Sigma because Six Sigma talks about quality. So I said, why not we select projects through cost of poor quality? He said, we don't have even a system to measure how much loss we make because of cost of poor quality. So first of all, we have to set up a system to measure cost of poor quality, define COPQ, and then you select a project. Can you see that? The level of organization maturity, which means I don't know my profit is eroding. I don't have even system to measure it. That's a kind of profit leakage. So the topic here, what I'm talking about, profit leadership through lean. There's no profit leadership here because I don't have even a system because I'm making losses here, which I don't measure. That's the level of system. I don't blame the people. I'm not here to blame the people or CEO or CFOs. That's the way you have designed your systems. So lean challenges the system, whereas Six Sigma challenges a process, errors or defects. So lean is about the entire system, from starting from marketing to till you deliver, how well you deliver to the customer. That's what the lean is talking about. For example, how McDonald's is delivering that you don't need to go manually and then select it, right? It's just a drive-through. So there are only a couple of steps to order. By the time you reach, the product is ready and you just come out of it. Can you see how many customers I can serve in a given period of time? That's what the lean is all about. That's what lean thinking is all about. It's not about the tools. Am I making sense? Yeah? Am I communicating? Any questions in between? You have any opinion you want to add it? You can add at that point itself. Yeah? I welcome your question as well. Yeah? Please. Yes, sir.
Maybe I think, as you said in the opening remarks, scenario 1990, 91, okay, we are witnessing the same thing. As we have, Royal Decree 50, 51, 52, 53 is come and the economy is opening up. That is how you have proactive challenges and things like that. As the ministry is calling you for the week, there is a lot of opportunity.
It's happening in a slow pace, but nevertheless they are also pushed. So unfortunately, what I have seen back home in India, the same here, unless somebody pushing you, there's nothing proactively. No, I see that 5 years down the line, I will not even exist. If somebody can see that kind of a visionary what we need. It's not something, you hit the roadblock and then you say, there is a roadblock. You don't need to even say that, you know very well. So that's the kind of visionary what we need. That's where the lean helps you to, save profits, save losses. That's what I'm talking about here. So this is a very interesting slide. It's shared in a LinkedIn. So can you see this? An optimist says the glass is half full. The pessimist says the glass is half empty. Whereas the lean guy says, why is the glass twice as big as it should be? So that's what the lean thinking. So this thinking is what we are trying to create in the minds of the people, not just a tool. Everybody can teach a tool. VSM, everybody must have heard about it. Whereas when you ask, have you done lean? Many people say, we have done lean. What have you done? Value stream mapping. We have done 5S. That's not what lean is all about. Can you bring such a thinking in the organization? Lean thinking is a perspective. It's a philosophy. That's what we wanted to bring in. Right? That's what the interesting slide. Here, if you look at, this is our impression of Oman here. If you see the GCC countries overall, your growth is like this. The plan for improvements, what we have seen here, it's like this. Whereas the world-class companies are somewhere. So 1 year, 2 year plan is not enough. You need to catch up. That's the level of gap what we are seeing in terms of best practice. People are asking everywhere, can you bring in best practice? We said, best practice is something far away. First of all, you have to set things right. Then only you can benchmark the best practice, what is available. For example, one of the banking institutions here, I've done a lean study just to share. To share them what lean can do to a banking industry. So he asked me to choose a process. I said account opening, savings account opening. So he asked me, why have you chosen this process? Because we do it in 20, 30 minutes, meaning a customer walks in and we do all that, whatever formalities. 20th minute, he goes with the welcome kit. Isn't it so? So he asked me, why have you chosen 20 minutes process to re-engineer our perspective of lean? I said, no. Explain me what happens to the forms which you collect after customer walks out. He said, there is another section called central processing unit. These applications will go and data entry will happen. That's the end of it. So I was curious to know, because as a lean thinker, I see everything as a value chain. I don't see in silos. I don't see bits and pieces. I see everything in a straight line. Then I said, I want to look at this process. Finally, when I found out 10% of the customers experienced not 20 minutes, but 7 days. So I wanted to prove that. Why 7 days? It's like this. Once customer walks out, the application goes back to the central processing unit and they go through every application and they found a lot of errors. Photo is missing, or proof is missing, or signature is missing, and so on and so forth. With that result, they pack all this and send back to the branches, go and talk to the customer. With that result, sometimes your ATM won't work because they would have frozen it, or account is frozen, or you can't apply for further features because your account is still not processed. That's the kind of processing they are doing. In a banking industry, 7 to 10% of defect is highest level. In fact, I went back to India and studied the ICICI Bank process because that's the highest level. So they said that their defect rate is less than 1% in terms of first-time right account opening, whereas here 7% defect, which is approximately 2 or 3 sigma level of quality. That's the level what we are working. So then I proved, no, this is what lean can do to you. So look at it not as a branch and 20th minute, look at it as a value stream. The value is still not complete. That's the lean thinking is all about. Don't look at it in silos. So here, since we are talking about profits, I need money, right? So the profit definition according to us is there is an entitlement profit. Entitlement is you are supposed to earn that profit. I have seen many companies, there is a demand, they have capability, but they are making losses. It's very strange, right? Demand exists. One of the cable wire manufacturing company, we did a study to tell them whether the market exists or not. There's a huge market here and UAE, and they have a capability to manufacture, but they are making losses continuously. That's a very weird situation. Your capability should reflect in the form of delivering it, right? Whereas when we got into the details, they said the design is wrong, they haven't understood the customer requirement. Sometimes they pack the material not as per the specification, the size. They packed something else and sent back to the customer. Sometimes the packaging itself is damaged. You name any profit leakage, they have done everything. They have exhausted all the profit leakage opportunities, and with that result, they decided to sell it off, the company, because now there is no cash flow. There's a revenue generated, but you can't collect the money because customer is penalizing you, and you can't regenerate the cash and put it in the company to sustain. So ultimately, you need to close down. That's the level of visibility what they have. Am I making sense? So what I'm saying, they are supposed to earn profit, whereas the actual profit, always the challenge in every company is entitlement profit is less than the actual profit. Why? Because you are not able to generate that. That's the area of concern what we are saying. Why the area of concern? These are all some of the examples I have picked up. You can see the delivery not met, inventory is piling up, accountability, debtors increasing. Many companies, especially the salesperson, is interested to close the orders. And when he closes the order, he doesn't care about the credit worthiness of the customer because his KPI is driven by number of orders and the value, right? Sold. But the problem is when I sell it to the customer, he says, I don't have money. And with that result, invoicing is increasing, whereas The cash is not coming back to the company. So how can I run the company? So now the dilemma is, can I continue? Can I continue to sell it? Can I pump in more money? No, you can't do that. The sales guys used to fight with the operations, why not you accept? With the CEO they fight with, why not you accept? With a minimum amount of credit terms. So it can't work because that's the way they are working. So what we are saying, if area of concern is, what are the areas of concern? You can see the technology and methodology and management. These are all some of the areas, whatever I have spoken up until now, you can summarize in these categories. There's a method. The logistics example, what I said, the branch, they walk in and then they hand over the parcel and go. That's a methodology is weak. That's the reason why they are not able to churn out as many as customers. And the technology. Even the company, it exists for 20, 25 years, 30 years by now. They don't have even an app for the customer. So they haven't even invested in a simple app technology where customer can key in the details. Before even I can come and collect the parcel, I can say what time I can come in, and the parcel can be retrieved. By the time you walk in, the parcel is ready to be collected. You don't need to stand in the queue. It's a very simple technology-driven process. So they haven't even envisaged such a benefit. That's the point here. So here, it's very interesting. This is from Toyota. So whenever we talk about lean, we cannot skip Toyota to mention, right? Toyota is still talking about, it's almost 50 years by now. And they have introduced lean to the world, right? Toyota Production System, known as Toyota Production System. They are still talking about their cost of production is very high. We want to relentlessly pursue to reduce the cost of production. Or different manufacturing units in US, there is no guarantee that they will get the order because the cost of production for different units are very different because they are hunting where the cost can be reduced. So that's what Toyota says. And think about the kind of organization we are running, and the cost is so heavy, people are still looking at where the cost can be reduced. Recently, in one of the companies, they said, forget about lean as a project, take the financials and look at 12, 13 overheads we have, choose 5 or 6, the top one, and reduce the cost. One of the cost is a very popular one. Can you guess which cost we take it? Cost overheads? One of them. Which overhead? So of course, that I can't touch it. So anything in the value chain, anything. Yeah, then a non-manufacturing, yes, we did. In a manufacturing, energy. Energy is an important cost. I have brought the case study as well in terms of energy cost, very high, especially the peak and non-peak periods and how they manage the manufacturing where peak period, how much to load, and non-peak period, how much to load. Nobody cared about it. Nobody looked at the bills, how much they charge, how the demand pattern is, how much, nobody looked at it. So this is not about tools, it's about the thinking, right? Lean talks about anything you waste. In personal life, we don't waste anything more than what we are supposed to, right? We were talking about one of the guys, I was having a chat with him about the Oman tel here and versus back home in India, how much they charge. So here, how much they charge is a very expensive, item here, whereas in India, it's not. So when it comes to personal, we are very sensitized enough to look at it, I waste money. Something which I do, it waste. Whereas when I look at it in an organization, we don't look at waste. This is one of the profit leadership issue which we found in company. People are not owning the financial perspective because it's only the agenda of CEO or CFO. It is not percolated down the line. Everybody owns a share of the value of money, which I am supposed to save or not supposed to waste, which is still not a agenda for the shop floor level. It's still agenda for the boardroom level. But that's primarily the reason why they don't look at the cost as an important angle. So primarily the improvement kata, it's a Japanese term, Toyota kata. Kata means it's a karate term, right? There is a particular way. It's called the muscle memory, what we call it. Muscle memory means muscle has certain memory. It does it, without any prompting, you prompting it. It's a second nature. That's how the muscle works. Here, the muscle, what we are talking about is an organization which does continuous improvement like kata, which is continuously, relentlessly, you pursue to find the desired condition. The definition is beautiful. Systematic pursuit of desired conditions to achieve the value. That's what the definition of kata. Systematic pursuit of, systematic means there is a structured way of approaching the desired condition. Desired condition means the best way of delivering value to the customer and no wastage. That's what kata means. Yeah, that's what Toyota does it. And of course, that's a Toyota history, you know that. How many of you know the Toyota production system? The birthplace of lean, right? So, there's an interesting perspective about the Japanese, why they are always considering the waste is of highest importance, because they don't want to waste, Japanese as a country, they don't have any natural resource. They can't waste. Because in India, for example, we have abundant resource. When you have anything in abundant, there's a mentality that whatever you waste doesn't sensitize you. You are not sensitive enough to see it. Whereas a country like Japan, where the scarce resources, anything which I spend, I need to use it optimum level. That's the mentality with which they come. That's why most of their techniques, tools, if you see, it's all very generic and there is no formula in it. It's the way to understand, it's a way to think. That's why the West and the East is very different. Six Sigma came from West, whereas it's a formula, statistics. It talks about numbers. Whereas if you look at lean, it's about the thinking, right? The best way I need to do. If I have to reach here, I need to find out a couple of ways. The Google Maps shows that, here you take 20 minutes, here you take 30 minutes. So I should obviously choose 20 minutes, right? That's the optimum way of reaching. That's what the value chain is all about, which is the best way to do. The challenge is, what is the best way? That's where the lean tools, the value stream, and the thinking, etc., helps you to understand. Yeah? So here, the balancing trick, what we are saying here is the cost of delivery and versus the value perception by the customer. So unless the value perception by the customer is more than the cost, meaning that whatever I pay, I feel, a lot of value addition you have given me than what I paid. That's the kind of, I think most of you must be having iPhone, right? If I'm not wrong. Yeah, and it's so expensive cell phone, isn't it? But you perceive the value is more, right? That's the reason. That's a value perception you create in the minds of the customer you have. So despite the cost you pay. So the value perception is very high. That's why the customer prefer you over the others. So whereas the Deming says here, is a very interesting philosophy here. Transformation levers, one is the speed of response. That's primarily come from the lean thinking, and the zero defects, which is primarily coming from the Six Sigma and employee involvement as part of the journey. This is just to share with you. So many companies, nowadays we have taken a couple of companies to go through the assessment of whole value chain. They are saying, we have designed this process 20, 30 years back. In fact, Deming said, if you have not looked at your process in the last couple of months, which means you don't know what you are doing. That's what he made a statement. Meaning, if you have not looked at the processes defined just 2 months from now, which means you don't know what you are doing. Think about it. Now, many organizations here, 15, 20 years the process designed. Nobody challenged over a period of time. There is a story about lean thinking, and somebody asked me to do so. That's why I'm doing it, kind of. Somebody, one person observed, of course, this is a story to convey the message. So somebody was writing in a piece of register, nothing seen, nothing seen. Every day, the register captures nothing seen. This guy keeps doing it. So somebody is curious to know, why have you written nothing seen? Because that's what I was asked to do it. So I didn't see anything. So I've written. So, but I wanted to find out, why have you written? So I don't know, I was asked to do. Okay, the previous person. So he couldn't find out. Then later everyone said, the person retired at 65, 70, 80 years. He's still alive. And you can go and find out. He was doing this, during 1940s, etc. So then when people asked a question, there's a person who is still writing nothing seen. Oh my God, still they are using it. During 1940s, there was no sensor or camera or something like that. Enemy warship cannot be seen. So, by any other system. So manually somebody had to go to the top and then see, okay, nothing seen. That means you are not in danger. So still people are carrying out. The war is over and every technology you have, but the role still exists and people go and do it. This is what. This is not just a story, huh? The 5 forms which I asked, right, which I asked the company, why are you filling up 5 forms? I said, please don't touch this, because I said, who can take a decision? Let's go to the branch manager. He said, no, I don't know, because I've been doing this. Then who can take a call? Can we go to the product manager who designed this process? He said, I have been doing this. This was the previous case as well, so I can't take any call on this, so I have to continue. It's exactly like a nothing scene, right? Finally, one fine morning, a new branch manager came and he said, he heard about the solution. He said, he scrapped all the forms without asking anyone. And then he made one form, what we suggested, let me do it. And he did it and then introduced it. This is not a story what I shared, right? This is the real time case what I have seen in many companies. People keep doing it. Nothing seen, continues. This is how people do it. So that's what, the trusting the old process, expecting new result. So that's what the challenge of lean. So this is just a thought process, guys, for you. So willingness to change is a strength, even if it means plunging part of the company into total confusion for a while. So many people, they don't want to rock the boat because they don't want to face the resistance from the people, right? So since I'm in a change management consulting, it's not about just lean. People don't just accept because, okay, you are a lean master black belt. That's not what my qualification is. People don't accept. It's a change management. I want to ask a question, since you are all experienced, definitely, you must have seen why people resist. Why people resist change is the question. Sorry, yes, ma'am. Fear of correct, fear of unknown, yes. Correct, it's a status quo. I'm comfortable here and I don't know what it means to me. So yeah, fear of unknown, comfortable, yeah. Uncertainty, yeah, we don't know what, uncertainty. Yeah, redundancy. What else? Why people resist to change? Yeah, attitude. So attitude, fear, primarily people don't know, what is in it for them. So it is starting from the shop floor level to it's not only the middle managers and the shop floor level. What I have seen, even the management level as well. People don't want to. People are holding to it because we don't know what will happen. Somebody will check. There is the fear is not unfound. The fear is very real. Sometimes, we find a lot of issues in the company. This guy goes and tells the management, let's say senior manager, let's say he goes and tells the management, I have so many profit leakage issues, etc. If the management asks back the same question, what have you done so far? Why haven't you unearthed all this? That's a fear they have because you have exposed him. It's not something he's leading it. So these are all the management challenge we face when we consult. So it is like a management participation as well and give the confidence to the people. Okay, fine, up until now you have done something. Now change. If that kind of a change management is not there, that's why certain lean implementation is not as successful as it should be. It's not about the tool, it's about the way you dealt with the tool. For example, our Modi introduced that, the currency, what is that? Demonetization, right? Of course, I don't want to debate with you. You are the expert here. Demonetization is good or bad. But as a layman, I know only, something which is good. So how he executed it, how people have executed it is important than the intention itself, right? By the way, demonetization is good or bad? Silent? Sorry? Still witnessing. Oh, still you haven't, you are not judging it. So since you are an expert, so you're not judging. I'm a layman, so I have no background of it. So I say it's good. So the point is how you execute is more important, such a lean management. So here, coming back to that, setting the tone. This is the scenario where every leadership to know and sensitize and tell the people. Now, a couple of slides I'm going to talk about what is profit leadership, because the theme of this particular discussion with you is profit leadership through lean. So I need to earn profit and lead it through lean. How lean helps, of course, we'll keep talking about it. So this is our experience and journey, and this is our definition of profit leadership through lean. So profit leadership is a holistic approach to enhance profits by focusing on the value delivered to the customer through optimum value stream, engaging everyone in the organization. So it talks about how the value is delivered to the company. Couple of questions to you guys. Of course, I've seen many value delivery, value chain. So the interesting, curious question is, what is value to the customer? You're all chartered accountants, right? So assume your profession, I'm taking it. You know, in your profession, what is value? What is value you create to the customer?
What his expectation from what he wants is met.
Okay.
Is what is it?
Okay. Expectation is met. That's a value I create. What is the value?
Wealth creation.
Okay, that's a different perspective. You create wealth to him by whatever means and ends. In the sense, you have your own.
Value is, you see today,
Sorry.
issue price is 10, today market price is, 1,000. So you have created this, is called value creation actually.
So there was an interesting statement when, in fact, I wanted to do CA, but I didn't pursue in the sense I chose a different line. Instead of CA, I chose MBA, and then I changed my line. I'm a commerce background and got into this consulting. Primarily, you see only engineers in the consulting, especially, manufacturing areas. But nevertheless, I adapted myself over a period of 17 years to consult. So, but when I was inquiring about CA, wanted to know about it, what kind of an opportunity exists. Is it MBA or CA? Somebody said what a CA is. So it's like this. So somebody asked a question, how do you read a financial statements? How do you enhance profit? He said, you tell me how much profit you want, rest of them I will fix it. So that's what CA, this was, in a funny way, commented about what a CA is, what you need to do. So you fix the profit and rest of them I take care of it. So that's not the way it is. I'm just saying, how it is. So. Oh, yeah, that's why I avoided it. So it cautioned me. Yeah, sorry, sir.
It is the synergy, like 10 plus 10, you want 20, but somebody like you as CEO, CFO says I want 200.
Correct.
Then this is called synergy, not numbers.
Correct. Correct.
That's where value comes in.
Correct. That's a value creation. Is that the only definition? You create value. What else? What is the value creation? What is the value addition you do to the customer? So take another example, because understanding a value is important to understand the lean. Lean primarily talks about no waste and create value. So in creating the value, don't create a waste. Meaning, there are two terms we use. One is effectiveness, one is efficiency. Do you think these two are different in the business context? What is the difference? Efficiency versus effectiveness. What is the difference? Yeah, but in what way it is different? I'm running my business efficiently, I'm running my business effectively, or I'm running efficient as well as effective. What difference it means? Okay. Okay. First answer is right. Yeah. Okay. Efficient and effective. Still not. Okay, what's the definition of effectiveness in the context of, there is a customer, I'm here the provider of service, and now the question is effective and efficient. Sorry. Oh, okay, that is effective. Okay, how about efficient?
Efficiency is a process in which you establish a process and say that I can do this in the most efficient way, this way, a particular way.
Okay.
But those processes may not lead to the expectation of a customer, because different customers are different and their expectations are different.
Right.
And your process of efficiency may not meet those expectations. So they are not effective.
They are not effective, okay. Okay, so yeah, you're right. What he said is the results meeting. So it's like this. So efficiency and effectiveness, what I have seen. Say, for example, one of the oil manufacturing company, where there are different manufacturing lines, each different product, and they wanted us to study, whether this manufacturing line, we have the cost of production is very high. Can you study? So the cost of production involves primarily the raw material and the manpower, and how much I produce in a given period of time. I was standing next to the line and then observing how many people are working. There are 15 people standing at various stages of production. And I was curious to know, some of them are not doing anything primarily. Most of the time, they were just witnessing what is happening. Every bottle moves, he was watching. There's a label sticks, and he was watching. So I was curious to know, why are you watching this? It anyway moves. It's in the conveyor belt. It's an automated process. So he says, if the label is defective, I need to stop it, and then I do it. The other person, he says, if the cap is not fitting properly, I need to stop it, and then adjust whatever, and then move it. I said, this is not part of the manufacturing process, right? So here then what we did, there are 15 people in that manufacturing line, and obviously the cost is very high because there are defects. So we did a Six Sigma project on those touch points of defects and removed those people from those areas where they were managing and then put it in another manufacturing line where they needed. So the efficiency is, customer is, you are meeting the customer requirements, no defect passed on to the customer. That's effective. Whereas 15 people instead of 10 people to work, that is efficiency way. That's the difference. So Lean talks about it. That's why Lean talks about it. When you remove errors, when you remove defects in your process, obviously the process speeds up. That's why the time element always talked about in Lean, I do it much faster. Because if you remember 15, 20 years back, earlier, you all know that we used to go to the bank to open a bank account, right? We all did that. So later when HDFC came and others, they said, before the coffee gets cold, your account is opened. So they are conveying that, that's the time I need, I can just open the bank account. That's the speed. Why the speed has been achieved? Because I have reduced all the waste in the product and service, which I myself created it. You know how we used to withdraw the money? We used to go to the bank and take a token, sit like this, wait for 20, 30 minutes, and then when your turn comes, you sign a piece of slip, and if the signature doesn't match, they ask you to sign 3 times because they wanted to ensure that you are the person, and then withdraw. All this crap, because I have understood the value creation very wrongly. What is the value? You need money, the time and date, wherever you want. That's what the value customer expected. But I have created my own process and then said, this is the value creation. That's not the value creation. I have not understood what is the value to the customer. That's why Lean specifies what is the value. The intrinsic value of a customer is, I want my money. It's not about 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock where you work, I need money. I need money at any time. This I have not understood. So I created a business model the way I want it. That's why understanding the customer value is the start point in creating your value chain. That's what Lean talks about it. Am I making sense?
Yeah? Yeah.
I think most of the time, the current model, the way businesses are being set, for example, the way the distribution is taking place. Now, a lot of costs which happens in distribution are just moved away by digitalization.
Correct.
But in this world, nobody can stay without looking at that cost.
Correct.
Otherwise, you're out of business.
Correct, you are out of business. That's what happened to Andasimar. That's what happened.
No, it's not a question of waiting for a decade to be out of business. Now you will be out of business in 2-3 years. So that is the kind of deception that is happening.
Correct.
It's fast, so it won't take that much amount of time. Right. So, of course, competency and employee. In fact, one of the utility company which we are training now, a lot of green belts in Lean, and the program is still running. I am conducting a program. And the kind of energy and participation they have brought. In fact, when I landed in 2014, I was a bit skeptical in terms of the locals and their way of dealing with. I know how to deal with Indian in terms of pushing things and getting things done. It's known to each other. How can I do it with Omani here? So we had a challenge, and I had a challenge in terms of dealing with them, because it's not about the subject which I am teaching. There are 2 issues we faced in terms of they should like the subject. I can't keep them for 5 days, 8 hours a day, and 40 hours, you keep talking about it. They just walk away. They don't like, even after an hour, they say, they raise their hand, I need a break. That's a level. And second is about their buy-in level in terms of, yes, we are ready to do. So far, almost 150 people we have trained in that utility company. Almost 40 projects we have done. So far, successfully, 20 of them are return on investment based. It's a pure money saving based. And the enthusiasm level they have brought to this particular initiative is amazing. I've never seen such a company. In fact, many companies where they are very lethargic, they are not participative. What is the uniqueness of this company, which I observed? Everybody is having a KPI. They are driven by KPIs in terms of you need to get certified, you need to be a black belt, green belt, whatever, and you need to do a project at least and save at least this much. It's been given to all of them. And they are running behind, and even if we don't run a particular batch, they say, please include him. 20 people, we used to tell them, no, more than 20 we cannot handle because it doesn't work. No, I have a KPI, within the next 2 months I need to achieve, take them. So KPI drives like anything. This is what GE did. Though Six Sigma as a subject came from Motorola, but GE popularized and implemented company-wide implementation, the very term they brought it, company-wide implementation by GE. So everybody's promotion depends on the level of project you have done and contribution you have brought to the company. So this is the point what I said, profit leadership. Who owns the profit leadership? It is about CEO, because the moment you say leadership, CEO, CFO, or CXOs, right? No, it's not. It's everyone. How can I drive? It's not about the designation. Do I have a KPI about my profit? In my company, my KPI is about how much profit I earn from every project and how many projects we complete in a year. This is what my KPI. So I always see how many resources I provide, how fast I complete and move to the next project.
So this is basically more of a cultural matter, because you have to bring that culture. That's what I said when you are talking about proactive and being reactive. So you have to bring in that culture, that whatever I do has to be customer-centric, and I need to be proactive.
Correct.
So that comes only through culture.
Correct.
Culture, yeah, you have to, culture building is what we are doing exactly. It's not about the lean tools. In fact, I don't focus much of the lean tools and techniques and Six Sigma to show them in these companies, just to provide them the culture and thinking, the buy-in. Yes, we got to do it and we accept. That's what we are talking about here, primarily on the competency. So far, good. Can I continue? The pace is fine. So I didn't ask about whether the speed at which I speak and you are able to follow me, right? So I don't need to reduce, right? Fine now. So profit leakage. Profit leakage is the subject we are dealing with in every company nowadays, where the profit leakage happens and why profit leakage is not even sensitized enough. That's a module I'm going to deal with. Primarily what we are saying here, marketing, sales, and that's a value chain. You can draw a parallel to any business. Marketing is the start point of acquisition and inbound logistics, manufacturing, and so on and so forth. These are the areas where the profit leakage is happening. I'll give you a couple of examples and also ask you what profit leakage can happen at a marketing or what profit leakage can happen in the inbound logistics. For example, if you take marketing and sales, nobody is responsible for profit leakage. They are responsible for order booking. So the moment you ask, because of you, we are struggling, they don't take it. Classic example here is they close certain orders and without checking the customer background, and they just dump it. And the moment you have delivered it, people are not able to collect the money, especially the finance, you have debtors, right? So debtors, bad debts, etc. It's happening, and you go and ask the sales guy, I'm not responsible. And they debate. That's a profit leakage we are talking about. It's not about only the product. Can you just highlight inbound logistics or inbound means the procurement, the supply chain, and the manufacturing. What are the profit leakage areas from your experience? I'm sure you must have seen, right? So I want you to share. What are the profit leakage? Is that a difficult question? What's the profit leakage of outbound logistics? Yeah, delay in supply chain. Many times I've seen the product is ready to be dispatched, finished goods stock. See the difference in financial statements, as you are the auditors, chartered accountants, inventory is an asset, isn't it? As per the classification of financial statement. Inventory is not an asset from a lean perspective. Yeah, the inventories are raw material, work in progress, and finished goods. The moment inventory is seen, we get sensitized. The moment you walk in and then you see raw material stored here and how much waiting in between and FG is waiting, then it's like an antenna. Now we know this company is not managed properly. System is not there. So inventory is not an asset from the lean parlance. So inventory is also profit leakage throughout. This is what the value chain. What we are saying here is how fast I can marketing to distribution, final dispatch. For example, one of the switchgear manufacturing we are dealing with, switchgear, it's not even a manufacturing, I should not say, it's an assembly line. Because once fabrication is done, rest of them are assembling. What do you mean by assemble? You get nuts and bolts and other things, and then you just assemble as per the design and then send it back. And this company particularly, none of the orders, they send it back to the customer as per the promise by the sales. Why? When we investigated, this is what they are saying. My lead time for procuring the material itself is 12 weeks, whereas the sales guys are closing the order saying that 13 weeks from the PO, I will deliver. That means perennially it's a problem, right? You can never meet the dispatch requirement at all. This is how they have been running. and they are not able to collect the cash because you don't dispatch on time. On top of it, they pay penalty. So this is how they have been running. Okay, what is so great about it? This is a known. The whole problem is, with the profit leadership, none of them are responsible for the losses. The moment CEO said, nothing doing, we are making a lot of losses, henceforth, any penalty, any loss, I will deduct from your salary. Indirectly, he says the KPI. He didn't say it in a positive way. The whole point is, now you own the KPI. Now people are owning the KPI. That means if I don't move the item, I'm going to, get it. That's the level of change what I'm talking about here. So this is what I have experienced. What influenced the profit leakage here is, one is people don't have financial perspective. They have no idea about how the profits are made. I'm just coming here and doing certain activities, swipe a card and go out. Yes, I'm efficient. I'm doing it religiously, what you have asked me to do. But the question is, whether I'm earning money, whether I'm causing loss to the company, that's not part of their agenda at all. That's what I'm saying, financial perspective from the people side of it. Second is, of course, process and system weakness. Whatever up until now I talked about different companies are all process weakness. For example, one of the cable manufacturing, where we have done a project and saved almost 300,000 real worth. It appeared in the books of accounts as well, in the sense, packaging. So they used to package the cables in such a way where they spend excess material. So lean thinking is what it says. Am I doing something more than what is required to the product? That's the question, theme, right? Yes, the size of the cable thing and how much material you do it. What are the excess thing which you are going to do in packaging? Because package is something you unwrap it and then dismantle it. It's not something usable to the customer, right? Where I'm putting a lot of money. So we re-engineered just a thinking, nothing else, waste thinking. Waste means, in lean, there is a terminology called, acronym called TIMWOOD. Have you heard of TIMWOOD? TIMWOOD stands for transportation as per the lean is a waste. Inventory is a waste. Waiting is a waste. Overproduction, overprocessing, defect, motion, these are all the categories of waste which consumes money. This simple, just a concept of this, we just applied in a packaging. I brought the case study as well to share. 300,000 real, just in a matter of 1 or 2 weeks, decided specifications. We discussed with the design team, we discussed with the quality team, what is the optimum level of packaging is required without compromising the quality. We arrived at 300,000 saved. Is it not a good news to the company? Just by bringing, you sensitize them what a waste means. That's the power of lean. I can cite an example. And finally, people awareness and accountability. Unless you make them accountable, profit leakage is with the board agenda, not with the people's agenda. We have to change that. Now, Prime Minister Modi has said, right, even after so many years of independence, now he said, ministers have to come on time and they need to attend the parliament sessions. See, that's the level of accountability what we have. A Prime Minister has to say that. And also Prime Minister has to say that you have to clean, drive, good initiative, but still we expect a leader to tell us clean. Same thing, you go to the company and it's a CEO has to tell, do it. That's the level of sensitivity what we have. So you can't blame the people. I'm not blaming the people. The whole point is, this is how you have created the system. So I'm happy about it. Why should I? I will not come out and then say, Sir CEO, I am responsible for this. Why should I say? That's the level of behavior we create. So another classic example is, in KPIs, we always say lead and lag indicator. Do you know what's the difference of lead indicator or lead KPI and the lag KPI? What could be the difference? What way it is benefit by knowing lead and lag in a business context? What is the benefit of knowing lead and lag indicator with respect to profit leakage?
Profit leakage, if it is a lead case, you are taking the advantage being the first mover in the market. In terms of introducing the product and things like, maybe your research cost and things like, maybe more. Whereas the second guy in the lag, he will know what is the defect and he will produce, and maybe you sell for 100 real and the guy may sell for 50 real or maybe 25 real, where make money.
Possible.
Any other view, lead and lag indicator? So see, you're all chartered accountants, right? You look at numbers, na? That's why I'm saying what numbers you look. It's like this, sorry, sir. What numbers, meaning lead and lag, the difference in definition is lag is something post-event, right? Everything happened and come back and tell you it's a news to you. I can't do anything about it. That's the definition of it. For example, a training program I do. So during the training, let's say 5 days of GB training program. After 5th day, I collect a feedback or I talk to the participants and then, have you liked it? Did I communicate to you? Was I audible? What difference it does make? It doesn't make any difference. It will make to the next program. But lead is, I'm interested to communicate. I'm interested to share the knowledge here. I keep asking questions here and there and check and also do a quiz and also ask them to participate just to know they are all with us. That's a lead and lag indicator benefit. In the context of profit leakage, the whole point is, at the end of it, I have a case. Simple one slide, I have made a sensitivity analysis from the financial statements. The company is continuously making losses for the last 5 years. It's a plastic manufacturing company. They manufacture road blocks and so on. They have posted a loss continuously for 5 years. Now they are asking whether I need to run this company or shut it down. That's a question they are asking. That's a lag, right? You can't do anything about it. Then the question comes, what are things you monitor? How systems in your company? Do you have system to know how things go? The answer is no, no, no. Which means without having a lead indicator, it's like driving your vehicle, right? Without knowing the dashboard and how much petrol you have, you don't know about it. You will come to know about it when it stops, right? That's what is happening between lead and lag indicator. So lead indicators are very important. Some of them are number of orders in pipeline, conversion rate, collection versus revenue, because many times people book sales in the books of accounts and show it to CEO. Oh, we have made sales, sales, sales. He has no visibility about the collections. So you have sold 2 million, but collected only 100,000 on an average. And then you buy money from the bank and pay interest and showing only, sales to the CEO. And what is so great about it? That's what I'm saying. Where the profit leakage is happening and then have a lead indicators there is what the game is all about. Yeah, and another thing is lead indicator, very interesting from the lean perspective, I'll share with you. What lean did to the organization is, many times I've seen, if there is an error, defect, something wrong, something went wrong, usually people keep it under the drawer, right? In the sense, it is hidden. Whereas when a lean, in a manufacturing, when things move orderly in the line, when anything stops in the manufacturing, immediately the light glows. There is a system created, which means you tell the whole shop floor, that means here there is a mistake. Unless I fix the mistake, I cannot run the process, which means I'm forced to fix the mistake rather than keeping it under the wrap. That's what the lean is all about. That's why it always talks about moving the value chain. So any stoppage immediately highlighted. Otherwise, the switchgear manufacturing, I said, every time when I ask a question, who is responsible, 5, 6 directions they show, and they escape, all escape. By the time you do the review, everything is done and they escape. Why? Because it is not sensitized. Error happens, defect happens, stop there, and the person has to fix it. That's not the way the value chain is run. That's another classic difference. Yeah? Any viewpoints, sir? Anything? Agree, disagree, yes, no, maybe? It's good so far? Quickly. Yeah, this is the example I wanted to share. The company which has continuously, these are all different segments like sales, and vertically we have written how much it was, 1.99 million to 0.94, and further down when we concluded it, and raw material and gross profit. So the case is, nobody can argue like this, okay, anyway, revenue has come down, so the cost and etc. No. The question is why revenue has come down. So we did a simple research, how much market they have. Market is there. There is a demand. They can do. But continuously they are making losses. That's what we gave them, next 6 months plan in terms of reviving how the market can be captured, the existing market itself. So a lot of loopholes in terms of fixing, even at the general manager level, fixing the responsibility of reviving the existing market. He just joined a couple of months back, not able to turn around, losses continue, no systems introduced, and this is the statement they are posting. This is a very disturbing scenario, right, for CFOs and the shareholder. What we are essentially doing is creating the shareholder value. If you ask me as SSA, what are you doing? It's not a lean and how many people I have trained. It is the shareholder value, creating the shareholder value. That's what we are doing it. We want to support them, earning profit and creating shareholder value. That's what SSA is all about, and the requirement is all about. stakeholders value. I corrected. I stand corrected. Yes, stakeholder value. Thank you so much. Yes, creating value to the stakeholders is what our value creation is. So this profit leakage in this company, when we looked at it, I told you, right, everything. Loss of productivity, procurement, overtime. When I asked a question, why are you paying overtime? So their manufacturing load, always we look at it how much load you have, right? It has come down from 100 to 40%, whereas they are paying overtime cost. It's weird, right? Why overtime is required? When you don't have even a load to complete during the normal working hours, nobody knows. This is how we have been running. So this is what I'm saying. Overtime cost paid, everybody sanctioned. So the moment we look at it, we ask a question, the relation, the correlation between how you run, how you pay money, raw material wastage, and so on and so forth. So primarily the category of profit leakage here is delay in collection, bad debts, rejections, and delay in executing product. You have N number. And most of the companies, the disturbing fact is you will find all of them are present. So that's how the systems are, unfortunately. So if this is the case, where all you will look at it, lean thinking changes all at the same time, acting as a vehicle for transformation. That's why I said, when I look at it as a value chain, I change everything. I don't do bits and pieces. Whereas Six Sigma is an isolated improvement. Six Sigma does an isolated improvement in the sense, if there is a defect in the form filling, it goes and looks at it, why the form is filled wrongly. It goes and checks why the product is made with defect. It doesn't talk about value chain. Whereas lean talks about it, forget about fixing the wrong process. I want to know what are the right process to be there. And then remove the unwanted process you don't want to improve. Because the 5 times the forms they fill up, that process itself, if I have to automate and make best automation possible and no errors, retaining the 5 forms is stupidity, right? Remove those 5 forms. Lean says that's not a value adding. Remove that. Don't improve a process where it is not at all required. That's what the lean says. That's why the speed is achieved. That's what we are saying is a system thinking. Deming only introduced the term called system thinking. Not everybody is having a system thinking. They have a silo thinking. I have my own process start and end. That's what I do. System thinking is the example which I said, the lean. I learned from lean. So the moment you tell me a particular case, the bank example, I didn't look at it as a branch start and end point, customer walk in, walk out. Can you see as a system where it starts, where it ends, how it can affect the rest of the processes? If your account is not opened, you can't withdraw money, you can't apply for other feature. Can you see all other interlinkages affected? That's how you need to look at it as a manager managing a process. That's not the way looked at. So I just wanted to convey, this is Juron's trilogy, which means what he says, quality planning, quality planning, quality control, and quality improvement is what he coined a word about quality. He says how to execute a process, how when you execute, find out the improvement opportunities, and then plan for improvement. I'm just drawing parallel to our discussion here. If it's a profit leakage, what are the levers with which you can look at it? Profit leakage planning doesn't mean plan for profit leakage. The whole point is where all the profit leakage is happening. Planning, find out where the controls are weak, and then find out the improvement opportunities. That's what I could draw parallel from what the quality guru has said. So we can look at it that way. So of course, this is about SSA's approach. I just wanted to share a couple of case studies quickly. Is it real? Have we implemented it? If yes, how was the scenario before and after? I just wanted to highlight another 10 minutes. Is that fine? Quickly. Manufacturing, yeah. This is just to show you how it was. So this is the assembly line, the switchgear manufacturing assembly organization. This is how they used to. So they used to search for material. This is how organized. So that's a level of involvement. So then we brought them to, this is one of the important, initiative, like we bring all the people together and then tell them, sensitize them how well we are organized in a one single workshop. So they all know how they are connected like this. It's called brown paper mapping. So typically a brown paper mapping, if you Google, you will find out a lot of information. This gives a perspective to the people. Many times I've done at least 20, 25 brown paper mapping in different companies. At least 50 to 60% of the people have said, I've never looked at my organization like this. I didn't know my organization functions like this because I'm only procurement guy. I procure, release purchase order, and walk out. I never looked at the way we deliver. So brown paper mapping is an important initiative to identify improvements. That's a tool or a technique or a workshop we do. Identify the profit leakage areas with the buy-in of the team. And can you see this manufacturing lead time, fabrication, and other? There's a Form 2 and Form 4 different products, 30 days, and the value add is only 12 days. That's what we wanted to unearth. 30 days you convert a product, raw material into product, whereas only 12 days you add value. The question is, what happens to the rest of the 15 days? And you find n number of reasons why it doesn't move. And you can see that now we have brought this, the assembly chain here, the DB box, the distribution box, switchgear box, everything will move. Earlier, people used to move around. Here, they generate something, and the next order, and then the next order. The chaotic way of running the manufacturing. Now, everything moves. If a box stops at a particular place, everybody questions, because I can't bring in another order here. I need to fix and then move. That's the value chain we have brought. And this is just an example. If anything stops, the light glows. If there is a red, the plant manager walks in why that is a red, which means it's not moving. There is a defect. Who has caused it? So making it visual is one of the ways for lean management. So visual boards we have brought. So we know what is happening. People don't hide. They address issues. And this is how the line looks like now, a lean. So, and now you can see that where the line stoppage happens, we investigated it at different levels. And we did a Kaizen. Kaizen is a small improvement project. Identify what are the delay contributors. And then you can see the line here, lean assembly line. And you can see with product, how does it move. And then you can see the before lean and over a period, first pass means no defect. It keeps moving. And you can see 18% to 80%. And also in terms of days, 23 days to 4.5 days. That's a possibility of lean. It's absolutely possible. This is another case in terms of packaging cables, which I talked about, how much percentage we have saved, almost 250,000 real. This is a real number, validated by the finance guys. Service industry case study. This is the inventory. This is a logistics company where they store a lot of inventories, stamps, receipts, and baggage, necktie, which is tying the bag, etc. In fact, they had a budget of 450,000 to invest. So when I inquired, why you are going to buy this? Do you have past consumption? The answer is no. Do you know how much you issue, how much they consume? The answer is no. Do you know who is authorizing the inventory? No. Which means you have all the box, you have said no, no, no. How are you going to invest 450,000 in? Let me find out. I investigated it, and then I found 250 or 250,000 worth of inventory already exists, but they have plans to buy another 450,000 worth of inventory. The question is here the accountability. When I asked who is accountable for inventory, is it procurement? He said, no, no, I just procure. Stores? No, I just get the material, issue. Go to the finance, if you ask, no, no, we just signed the check. And who is accountable? And nobody is accountable. There is no fix. So that's the process we have fixed and we saved. That's what we have listed here, 334,000 worth of money prevented from spending. That's what the lean, which means you have already inventory. This is a electricity case. This MADC, of course. You can see that A, B, C, D are the different stages of processes, and each one taking how many days is given. Total, if you sum up, it comes to around 65, 70 days. A new connection, if I want to start a business and get the connection, another 2 to 3 months, working days, which means 3 months. 3 months, I am not going to get the connection. Think about it, how fast. This is the case for Al-Nama. We are working with them. Guys, that's about it from me. Any questions, any opinion you want to ask, any questions you want to ask, I welcome. I'll answer whatever possible.
Any correlation with TQM and total quality management and this lean management?
See, TQM talks about speed and defect and employee involvement. These are the levers TQM talks about it. Particularly the lean addresses the speed, it talks about it. But lean is a methodology. TQM is, that's the difference. Speed, it talks about it. The speed comes from the lean, and the defect element in the TQM, it comes from the Six Sigma. Lean and Six Sigma are the methodology to address the TQM, total quality management. That's a correlation, or it complements the...
So lean management is mainly for like a process thing, or that, like for social responsibility or something, there is a lean management or something concept? How is it like there is a society and then like a non-profit organization, there is lean management, is it there, or means your presentation is mainly on profit? Suppose there is no profit and we do a lean management, so what you feel?
So it's like this. It's, though in the context what we are talking about, his question is if it is a non-profit organization, does lean is applicable or not? Yeah. See, it's like this. Lean, in this context, nowadays the profit is important. So we are talking about profit as an element or end in mind to achieve. So lean is not about only profit, though it came from Toyota Production System and primarily addressing the value chain issues. Lean as a philosophy or thinking, anything you do more than what is required as lean can be applied. Even in a non-profit organization or in your life itself, whatever I do, I always give this exercise to the team whenever I train. Go back and 5-6 days of training and the coaching subsequently, go back and list out all the activities you do in your organization and also personally, and then classify what is value or non-value. At least 40 to 50% of the things you do itself a non-value, which is a waste which doesn't add value to you to grow. So it depends on the context, you can change it. That's a thinking, not as a tool. Look at it that way.
I think in this non-profit organization setup, what would be important is the time or the resources which are put to use. If it is used in a better manner, then there might be more ways that it could be put to use.
Good, very well said. Because even non-profit or profit, there is a value creation, right? There is something non-profit organization exists to create it. Obviously, you can do it in a much better way. So lean, yes, applicable.
How do you address this behavioral changes in your lean management?
So, see, one of the things what we do is, of course, these are all the methods where, first of all, we need to... People just walk out. It happens even in my program, no? While I teach. So, people say, it's time is over, you know. See, change management, there is no one single formula, of course. It's a change management, it's a very dynamic and the relationship. First of all, what are the change management issues? That's why I asked a question, why people resist change? Because I have a fear. Because you may ask me to go, one. Second is you may ask me to enhance my competency where I may not be competent enough to carry out what you envisage. Because I have a fear. Because I am comfortable with it. Because you are changing certain things and ask me to do different way. You must have heard when in India, from typewriter to computer, people opposed computer. So it's a stupidity to oppose computer. How can we embrace things? That's the reality. People have not faced the reality. That's why people don't change. The answer to your question is, when they embrace, I have no other option except to embrace it. People do it. Otherwise, people will not do it because it's a problem like, it's a sustenance, right? So you have to get the buy-in of 2,000 people and keep talking to them and, you say, I will incentivize. These are all ways to do it. Things will not happen.
I want to know how the appetite to learn within the pupil is behaviorally. How do you address this thing?
How you educate?
How do you educate people to change?
Or how you bring people on board?
Efficient to educate or to make them learn or appetite to learn.
See, in one of the organizations, if I cite an example, how they can buy in and then take more. Yes, I want to do it more. In fact, the branch example, the logistics which I have given, where people resisted to change because I don't want to change because these are the ways to run. So the moment you say, before this is the scenario, and the same thing I'm helping you to do it in a much better way to deliver what you are supposed to deliver, it helps you to deliver much better than what you deliver. The moment they understand, and that's what they do, and also the management supported, yes, this is what we wanted, people started, talking about it. With the result, everybody talks about it. This is a kind of, scenario what we have created, and people started buying in. This is a slow process, but nevertheless, these are the ways to do and address to them, and also share with them, talk to them, and it's not something, change is something bad to you, change is something inevitable to you. This we need to sensitize them. It's a process is to change. This is how we do.
But I think the change, when we talk about change, as a group when you try to do it, for example, you know that people who are in the system, then the commitment levels are
Correct.
and the acceptance levels are also because each of them support each other to get into the required thing. So if you do it individually, it may not happen. But if you do it collectively, most probably,
So,
Right, one of the companies where the support versus it's a business excellence team. We are part of the business excellence team as an external consultant, and there is an operations team. Operations team, they don't like anything coming from business excellence. So we found out why they are resisting. They wanted to improve, and anything you propose, initiative, they say we are doing already. So the whole thing is, then we understood, they felt, we are going to take away their credit. They are contributing to the organization, plus they do take initiative. Second, anything you say, we are going to do lean initiative. You are bringing a term here and then say, we have brought it. So these are the things they didn't want. The moment he said, forget about lean, we don't want to bring in. It's not something I propose and you do it. Can I support you? You are doing certain initiative, let me be part of it. Rather than saying, I lead it, you be part of it. No. The moment we changed the style of dealing with them, now they are coming along and then saying, hey, we want this to be done. And can you support? You put some people, train them, etc. And we are okay with them being projected it. Ultimately, we wanted to contribute. The moment you changed it, they started cooperating with us. These are all very dynamics. You need to understand the behavior and deal with it. Anything else? I'm done. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much for a wonderful session. May I invite one of our committee member, new committee member, actually subcommittee, to give a formal vote of thanks. Sorry, I'm missing it. The memento for the session, for your hard work and appreciation. Yeah, thank you. Please come see Farid. Friends, as a customary, the last bit left of the day is the vote of thanks. May I invite our Vice Chairman to offer the vote of thanks?
Thank you, Shahnawaz Khan. Thank you very much, Mr. Nandakumar, for your wonderful interactive engagement session on lean management. I'm sure all our members will take benefit and start practicing from tomorrow and in their organization and make changes. As you said, change is inevitable. Okay, we are all ready for a change and take to the next level. Thank you very much. And on behalf of Muscat chapter, we look forward to have one more session and look forward to see you once again. Okay. We also thank CBFS, our sponsors, and I also thank Dr. Rajesh Naik, who has been great supporters and for all our chapter activities. Thank you very much, and thank you one and all. Now I request all of you to join for a group photograph. Thank you.